friends, Vanda here. Today I will be covering the amazing liver and gallbladder flush by Andreas Moritz and answering some questions on the flush itself and why I recommend it to most of my clients, but only when I feel that they're ready for it. The importance of knowing this organ's function and why having some knowledge of physiology is important before embarking on the work needed to prepare the liver and body to handle the task at hand. I wrote some notes and I have a lot of questions here written down for me to cover because I always see a lot of questions being asked about the liver flush and why do it, blah, blah, blah. So maybe I should start with my experience with the liver flush. So about 10 years ago, I finished my studies as a raw chef. I was a regular chef before that. And in growing my business and evolving, I got interested in the raw lifestyle, so I started studying that. And once I got certified, I said, well, I'm gonna, have to embark on this lifestyle in order to practice what I preach to my clients. So basically at the time I was a chef, pretty much eating everything, but already gearing towards the vegan lifestyle. But I couldn't really wrap my head around that. I had always said when I'll never be able to be a vegan. I've been eating meat since I was a little girl. How could I give that up? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the years went by and I started studying, like I said, the raw lifestyle. And once I became certified, I said, I'm going to do a 30-day juice fast. And with that, I ended up losing count at 72 days. And at the time, let me back up a little bit, I had asthma. I was using my pump like 3 times a day. And I also had really bad allergies, all kinds of allergies to food. I was lactose intolerant. Since I was 13, all of this happened at once when I was 13. I was allergic to everything. Dogs, cats. If I walked into somebody's house that had a cat, it was like really, really bad. My eyes would start tearing. I'd have an asthma attack. I'd start itching. I'd get hives, you name it. So I took an allergy pill every day of my life since I was 13, and I used my pump like 3 times a day for my asthma. So I was miserable, always with snot in my nose, always with a tissue, always mucusy, just terrible. So basically, like I said, when I graduated from my classes for raw vegan chef, and with that comes, a fitness, which I was involved in earlier in my life anyway. So that was pretty much what I concentrated on, pretty much was the diet and how to go about it and why was pretty much already there in my head before I started studying it. So anyway, I finished studying, I got my certificate, and I went on my juice fast. So I was doing like 2 fruit juices in the morning. I was doing a carrot juice with beets in the afternoon, and then I would do a green juice for dinner after that. So I did that, and like I said, I lost count at 72 days. And at the same time I was juice fasting, I was still studying, and I had heard about the liver flush. So I read Andrew Moritz's book, which is called The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush by Andreas Moritz. So if you go on Amazon, you could get the book. I make all my clients read the book before they embark on the liver flush. So I read the book, and I started preparing for the liver flush. I got all my stuff that I needed. I started softening the stones and following the protocol for my liver flush. And I did my first liver flush, and I released tons of green stones. Actually, my first one, I didn't release too many stones. It was very little, and I was kind of disappointed. But I had also read in the book that that might happen. And so the recommendation is that you continue doing the flush every 6 weeks until you have no more stones. So on my second flush, 6 weeks later, I released tons of stones. Some the size of my thumb, the first bend of my thumb, really big stones. And that's when I noticed, as time went on, I was like, I'm not using my asthma medicine. I'm not using my allergy pills. I feel fine. So basically, I did 10 liver flushes every 6 weeks until I didn't expel any more stones. And ever since then, I have not used my asthma medicine. I have not taken an allergy pill. I have not gotten bronchitis. I'm lying. I did get bronchitis once after my liver flushes, like 3 years later, and I was under a lot of stress, and there was some mold, and I believe that's why I got that bout of bronchitis. But it's been 7 years now since I had bronchitis, and like I said, I hadn't gotten a bronchitis attack, which was at least 3 times a year I would get bronchitis. The change of seasons or something would happen where I would get bronchitis. So at some point, the doctor said that I had chronic bronchitis because I got it so often. So anyway, this is a main reason why I believe in the liver flush so much. You know, before I embarked in it, I talked to people. My yoga instructor at the time said she couldn't conceive when she was younger. And she tried and she tried, and she did a liver flush, and she was able to conceive. So I started looking more into it, and talking to more people, and everybody that I talked to had pretty much the same feeling as me. And knowing today what I know as far as a liver flush is concerned and a gallbladder, at some point or another, people end up with a gallbladder attack and they go to the emergency room because it's really painful. And the first thing the doctors want to do is take your gallbladder. Please, please, people, please don't give in to that. I know you're in so much pain, but don't let these doctors take organs from you without doing your research. Don't sign on that paper because you're just in so much pain that you're willing to go there. Really, because everything, I believe, stems from the gut and having a toxic liver. There's a lot of other things, but I think those two things are pretty much really important in my book, is gut health and your liver functioning properly and your lymphatic system. You know, that's number 3. And not in any particular order, although when I detox clients and friends, I do have a certain way I go about it. But yeah, so the liver flush, yes, let's talk about that. I'm going to answer some of those questions. You have a basic idea of why I got involved with the liver flush and believing in it. And then, as you all know, I'm now a certified detox specialist and an iridology practitioner. And I studied all of that with Dr. Robert Morse, and he also recommends the liver gallbladder flush. So anyway, I'm gonna start answering some of these questions because I have a big list of them for the liver detox. So I'm going to start with the first one on the list. And the first question is, I didn't notice anything on the liver detox. Is that good or bad? Okay, so I think I touched a little bit of base on that. The first time or the first couple of times, you're probably going to see mostly green stones. And they'll get darker as you do more of the flushes because you're going deeper. So the first time you do the flush, you're pretty much pumping everything from your gallbladder. So a lot of bile is coming out because you're making your gallbladder work efficiently and pump. So it's going to push a lot of that. And that's why those green stones, right? Because a lot of that are bile stones. So that, like I said, everybody's different. So I wouldn't worry about, how much you feel and how much you get out, and right away say that this is a hoax and it doesn't work, because like I said, everybody's body works differently. Some tips I could give you is definitely don't skip on the enema following your first release. I would do at least a water enema, if not a water and baking soda enema. I know Dr. Morse doesn't like coffee enemas, but when I do my liver flush, I do a coffee enema, only one. I do a water one first, and then I do a coffee enema, and then I do another water one after my first release. And it really helps that the stones come out and you clear them, because sometimes they get trapped in your colon, etc. So yeah, don't feel like everything needs to happen at the same time. You need to be patient and keep digging. So do your first liver flush and then continue with your detox, or take a little break and take that time to rebuild a little bit and get yourself strong again, and then go right into it 6 weeks later, because you want to do it consistently so your body is used to it and it just keeps going in a nice manner. So that's my recommendation for that. I know I released a lot more the second time, and I kept releasing, and the stones kept getting darker and darker. And then the stones were fewer and fewer. So it's a long process. You need to have patience with your body, and you allow your body to do the work it needs to do. You're just aiding it to do its work, whether it's with the herbal protocol, that's really, bringing energy into those specific organs and, activating them where you have the weaknesses, etc. But this liver flush, when I still see people with certain ailments going on after a long period of cleansing, I know that the liver flush is definitely a good idea. But you need to be careful and make sure that you're mentally ready and that your body is ready for it. So don't skip on softening those stones, for sure. That's like my number one concern with my clients, because you don't want to end up in the emergency room, because that's when they'll want to take your gallbladder, because the symptoms are the same if a stone gets enlarged in the tubes between the gallbladder and your liver. So you definitely want to make sure that you soften those stones and you do everything by the book, because I've seen some people that skipped, or they did the liver flush too fast, before they cleaned house first, etc. And they had some bad experiences, and then they talk bad about it, but really it was their, misinformation about the liver flush itself, or they did something wrong, or they skipped a few steps here and there. So just be really careful with what you're doing. Do all your research, and then read the book, and then follow all the steps that you need to follow to have a good experience with it. So you want to do more. Okay, so that's that. The other question was, what if I can't make it through the 7 days? So for the liver flush, there's a 7-day period. So for 6 days, you're pretty much want to be on juice. That's like the best thing, even though you'll read other ways of doing it, and people are eating all sorts of stuff and then just doing the flush. Like I said, I like to be really careful. So if you don't think you could make it through 7 days of juicing, then it's not a good idea for you. And that's one of the reasons why I make sure that my clients are ready for what's coming. So if they haven't done a juice fast before, you want to make sure they could do those 7 days on juice before they embark on this. So those are some things you want to think about, and make sure that you address all these things, and you see the progression of your clients or yourself being ready. I had a client that I never even, I told her to read the book, and then just by the questions she was asking me, I knew she wasn't ready, and I ended up never doing the liver flush with her. So, some people might never be ready. So, yeah, that's the answer to that. The next question, I don't have a gallbladder. Will the liver detox still help? And the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Especially you want to do that and make sure that you clean out that liver, because if you don't have a gallbladder, your liver is more on overload than anybody else. So because you're missing that pump, the gallbladder is what pumps everything through and pumps all this acid, so it breaks down everything that's in your liver. So if you don't have a gallbladder, you definitely want to do that liver flush so you can clean out the liver even more. So the answer is yes, yes, yes. I was wondering when it would be okay to start drinking coffee again after the detox. Okay, so this is a question that if you're going into a detox with that mindset that the first thing you want to do is drink that coffee, the first thing you want to do is have whatever. It's not just coffee, it's everything that you think that you're going to crave or whatever. If you're going into any detox with that mindset, then if you're looking for a timetable of how long it's going to take and all of that, it's not a good mindset to go into. When you go into a detox, you want to go into this mindset where you want to be the healthiest person ever, and it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, because the mindset should be, it took me this long to get here, so it's going to take a long time. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to detox for a week, or I'm going to detox for a month, and then when that month is up, okay, I'm done, and you go back to, that's not the purpose of detox. If you're working with somebody that's good and can really guide you, they're going to transition you in a proper way and get the detox process to become a lifestyle change where you're not going to want a lot of these things. And as you go through this detox, if you give in to these things, then you give in and then you keep going. That's the kind of mindset you want to have. Not, when can I have my next cup of coffee? When can I, have that big steak again? Those are things that really shouldn't enter your mind as you're going into a detox. You want to be clear-minded and know what you're getting yourself into and what the benefits are going to be, and then notice those benefits, how you're feeling throughout the detox and how you used to feel, so you don't revert back to those ways. So that coffee should be something that's going to fall off and you're no longer going to need it. And basically, when you're detoxing, within the first 3 days, that's the first thing to go. Like, you will know if you make it through the 3 days and you were a heavy coffee drinker, you will not have the headaches and all of that that comes with giving up the coffee. The first 3 days are hard, but then after that, you won't even miss it. I promise you. So, yeah, going into a detox with that mindset is not something you want to do. Next question. I detoxed my colon but missed the liver flush. Can I still do it, or do I need to do the colon detox again? So, in Dr. Morse's protocol, you should always be working on your digestive system. So, there's really no time that you won't be working on that digestive system and getting the kidneys to filter. Those are certain things that are always going to be happening. So, again, if you're working with somebody, they will guide you through this, and that's something you really don't need to worry about. Can I continue the liquid juice fast once I've completed the liver detox? Well, I highly recommend it that you at least stay another day or two with just juices, and you don't just come off a 7-day juice fast and then go right back to eating, normal, or eating fruit like right away. I would work myself up to it and do maybe a day or 2 or even 3 of juice and kind of add back, then have some smoothies on the second day with the juice first, and get your digestive system to get used to the food again, because you've been 7 days, for 7 days, you gave your digestive system a break. So you're going to have to kind of, get it going again in a nice manner so it's not too much of a shock. So that's the answer to that. Is it okay to drink purified water during the day instead of drinking juice? Of course, you could always drink water. Nobody's ever told you to not drink water, but if you want to get nutrients, and you're drinking juice, you don't really need water, but I don't see why not, by all means, drink water if you're thirsty in between your juices. That's totally fine. Okay, next one. Is there an alternative to, no, this wasn't. This was a funny one, but I wanted to put it in there because, not everybody knows what an enema is. But somebody actually asked, is that something you buy in the drugstore? Well, you could, probably get a bag if you use it, or an enema kit in the drugstore, but you could also get it on Amazon or whatever. But yeah, that's something you'll have to purchase, but an enema itself is something you give yourself at home with the provided kit. So that's the answer to that. Can I eat some dried fruit on the first and last day? I don't see why there's a problem to eat some dried fruit the first day, but on the day of the flush, like if you mess up a little bit the first and the second day and you have a piece of fruit or even a salad, it's okay. But by the 6th day, you better be on all juice for at least 3 or 4 days. So, because you really want to give your body, your digestive system, that break before you go into the liver flush. So, and then after the liver flush, we just went over that. You really don't want to eat anything that's going to take your body a lot of work to do, because you want to give your body a rest. That's, you did a lot of work before that, so you don't want to revert right away to the bad habits. So I would hold off on the dried fruit past day 1 or day 2 of the preparation for the liver flush. Is it okay to add some starchy fruits such as bananas if my energy levels are down? If you're on a juice fast, that's something you might expect is, having less energy for those that are highly acidic and have a lot of stuff going on. But for me personally, when I do a juice feast, I like to call them feasts, I can't even tell you how much energy I feel. And the past 10 years, when I used to cook for on my cook days, for example, that when I cooked for clients, I would I would do juice all day because that was the easiest thing, and it gave me energy and it got me through the day. So everybody's different, and those are things that as they come up, but that's something that might happen. You might be low energy. So again, working with somebody is really important. I would always advise that when you embark on doing the liver flush, that you actually, try at least the last 2 or 3 days and the actual flush day and maybe even the day after, that you don't have too much to do. You don't want to overexert yourself. You'll be releasing a lot, and you don't really want to, be exerting yourself too much. I would make sure that the last day, so the day that you actually take the drink in for the flush on the next day, I would say do that day, the last day, which you'll need to stop drinking juice and it'll just be water on the last day, that you make sure you're not working or have to do. I would stay put around the house until the day after the flush. So you'll drink your drink, and then it's the flush day where you'll be releasing the stones. Those 2 days I would take off or do it on a weekend. So yeah, that's super important. So this one is, I want to do a colon detox and a liver detox both at the same time. Can I do that? Well, when you're on just juice, you're pretty much cleaning out your colon because you're giving it a break. But you want to have a pretty clean colon before you go into the liver flush if you can. That's kind of important. So I don't know, maybe, this question came up for another protocol. I know there's a lot of different protocols out there, but I don't think this would pertain to mine. So not sure about that. This is kind of interesting. Is it debilitating for the body to be deprived of almost all protein for 5 consecutive days during the liver detox? If you're consuming animal protein, I don't think you should be doing a liver flush. So, you could... I wouldn't recommend it at all. So I don't think, if you're still eating protein, then you're really not detoxing. And I wouldn't be recommending that liver flush to somebody like that unless they did at least 30 days of no animal protein and really did a heavy detox and then go into the liver flush. So yeah, if you're still eating animal protein, then I don't think that the liver flush is going to be even in the question there. So, yeah, and being debilitating not having animal protein or all protein, I don't think so at all. Our body doesn't need protein. What our body needs are amino acids, and those amino acids are found in fruit and vegetables. So, yeah. I answered that one already. Do I have to follow the prescribed diet or can I add light meals? So those 7 days preparing for the liver flush, like I said, juice is the best. If on the first couple of days you have fruit and a salad, that's okay, but keep in mind that you're going to be drinking a lot of apple juice to break down the stones and things like that. So I really don't think you'll need your meals past the first or second day. And again, if you're still eating salads and you're not on all fruit, I don't think you would be a candidate in my book for a liver flush. So, yeah. Can the liver flush tea be sweetened with stevia? Well, the tea that I recommend is before you embark on the actual liver flush preparation. So that would be way before we start you on the 7-day preparation for the liver flush. So that's number one. But stevia is not something I recommend. If you want to sweeten something, maybe some blackstrap molasses or something like that, but I don't recommend sweetening your teas really. But if you have to, like I said, maybe some blackstrap molasses or maybe some maple syrup or something like that. But I wouldn't go into the stevia unless you grew it yourself and you dehydrated it and powdered it. And that's going to be green. So anything that you're buying in the store that's white, I don't recommend. So that's the answer to that. How important is cleaning the colon for the liver detox? It's pretty important because if you're not pretty cleaned out, then a lot of these stones are might get stuck to the walls and stuff. So you really want to have that clean colon, which again, giving your body a break from digesting for that week prior to the liver flush, why I find that super important. It's just part of it. So I find it super important that your colon is clean and that you're free of parasites when you do the liver flush. So as a male, all I saw were females and comments from women. Is this something that is also geared towards men? I've seen plenty of men do the liver flush, and my husband being one of them. So yes, it's good for both males and females, for sure. I feel so nauseous. Am I doing something wrong? Well, I always say that you might feel nauseous on the day that you take the drink for the flush, the night before the day of the flush. So yeah, you might feel some nausea, and that's why I say drink your drink and then go right to bed and lay on that side of the liver so you don't get nauseous, and don't get up. Try to go to sleep right after that. So prepare your mind, body, and soul. Do some meditation, whatever you have to do, and get yourself prepared for sleep before you do your drink. And then do your drink when you're already sitting in bed, and then lay down right away. That's something that will cut down that nausea. But if you're not used to doing a juice feast, again, that's why I recommend that the person is ready physically and mentally to do the liver flush. Because if you didn't feel good doing juice before that, then you're not ready, because you're going to have to try to do juice for 6, 7 days, 8 days. So, yeah, as far as the nausea is concerned, I only experienced the nausea from drinking the Epsom salt drinks. That makes me nauseous on like the 3rd serving, but I know that's the last one. I'm done and I'm good to go, so it's something you'll have to kind of overcome, I guess. Do I need a juicer for this detox? Well, yeah, again, that's part of being ready. If you've done juicing before, then you're ready, because all of these things, you have the juicer to juice the apples with, etc. Otherwise, like back in New York when I was still cooking for my clients and stuff, I would juice for them, and bring my juicer or whatever. So you're gonna have to find a way. Otherwise, maybe a juice company near you that would provide those juices for that week would be something that you might want to look into. But again, if you're working with a detox specialist, that's something that they should be making sure that you're ready for this before you embark on it. I have a baby shower, birthday dinner, family brunch, etc. What should I do? If you're detoxing, if you're gonna do this liver flush, again, you need to definitely schedule yourself that you're off that week from any commitments like that, going out to dinner with friends, whatever it is, should not fall on that week of your liver flush. You want to follow everything as best as you can for that. Thanks for watching. Every week, I answer questions, share tips, and read eyes using iridology. Please leave me a comment, subscribe, like, and share. I'm Vanda of Raw and Well. I've trained and worked with Dr. Morse. I'm a detox specialist, raw lifestyle coach, and iridology practitioner.